Hello, everybody, and welcome to session number 21 of the Dragon Age Season 3 campaign. We only have a fifth of the way left. After today, there will only be 4 sessions left. So we're nearing the end game. Not quite there, but very close. And as you can see, we have an extra guest today, who will be joining us for this session. But before we get into the thick of things, let us do our warm-up question. So, as we found out from last time, the group ended up somehow not only back in the world of Thedas, but right smack in the middle of the Chi Isles. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, the Chi Isles right now is a homebrewed location on the Thedas map. And I believe I've read some articles where the designers of the Dragon Age lore have had discussions on expanding the Thedas map as we currently know it. And I've read articles saying that they were considering including new continents on the Thedas map that were more Eastern or Asian inspired. And so, since that hasn't happened yet, we're just saying that in this world, the Chi Isles is one of those Asian inspired continents or Asian inspired countries. And so, because of that, for today's warm-up question, pretend that your PC character lives in our real world. Which country do you think would be most interesting for your character to have grown up in our real world? And keep in mind that that doesn't have anything to do with your character's skin tone or ethnicity or anything of that nature. Okay?
I think Leon would probably be from Canada.
Yes!
Yeah, okay. Because Orlais is very French, so, Canada has that nice French culture in there, as well as some huge wooded forests. So, nice forest area. And, he's nice, but he'll cut you if you mess with him. So,
For right now, I'm picturing Leon, when I see him in the game, I'm picturing him having a Terrence and Phillip look. Just the very simple,
hey, kid.
I can definitely see Leon as being Canadian.
I don't know really for sure. I think probably other people might have a better answer than I would. But the only thing that comes to mind is something to do with Nazi Germany and World War II.
Interesting.
Either being like a Jew in hiding and fighting back, or being a soldier of Germany who doesn't necessarily want to fight for Germany but is kind of forced to.
Yeah.
Or in some way being a survivor of World War II. That it seems to make the most sense.
I see that.
Whether he fought for Germany or not, very much was affected negatively by the war, and kind of has a lot of guilt and scars associated with that. That's the thing that makes the most sense to me.
I love that. That's a great idea. I like attaching that to something historical.
I know that. Well, I'd say I know. I'm like 90% certain that Saharon was based off of the Middle East at some point in its past. However, I don't want to go with the obvious answer. So I was drawn to South America for some reason, and specifically, I'd say the Falklands. Do you know what the Falklands are? That is my question.
I do not.
Okay. So basically, the Falklands are these very small islands, just like off of the bottom coast of South America. And they are very grey, very drizzly, filled with sheep, looks a lot like England, hence why we decided to claim it. And we fought a very large war for them back in the 70s, and we still own them. And it's a tiny island that's constantly at war. And I was like, that sounds kind of like Saharon.
Just ignore angry Argentina in the background.
Yeah, just ignore them. They're Minrathous in this situation.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Probably
I
isn't.
know.
To be honest, I could see Russo being from like early 1900s Spain.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and then like it'd just be fun to yell at people in Spanish because you sound way more angry than you actually are.
I would say for my character today, pretty much more feudal Japan. However, when I first created him, I was thinking more Nordic, and actually a bit of a nomad, a traveler, was how I originally envisioned him.
Yep, I can see that.
And now I'm putting this off because it's way too hot.
Yes. Welcome, Gremlin Mike.
Hello. That was me being prepared if I happened to be here for Halloween. I was not, but I was prepared.
No, I love it. I love it.
Hey, Mike, I didn't see there. Where were you? We just had a lizard leave the group, right?
Yeah, that was Liz. He couldn't be here today. You're gonna meet Gaz Drool today. He's awesome.
Oh, cool.
So I would see him could possibly be in two different areas, at least the first part of his years. I don't know. I could see him be like the British Empire, or at least in his it's like Spike, or like maybe it's like it's when it starts to decline slowly. He probably would have been a servant at that time instead of like an actual slave, and yeah, I think he could have fit that era. Would have been a doctor, a little bit less problems. And then if he would have ran away, I think he would have gone to one of, I'm thinking like at least in terms of, I'm going to pick a continent if that's not a problem, Africa. They travel in those arid conditions and help people around, going by country to country. So
let me take this opportunity now to introduce our guest. Hi, Gremlin Mike.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back here on your channel, Hark. I hope I do it justice.
For those of you who may not be aware, Gremlin Mike actually was one of our finalists when we were auditioning people for this campaign.
2-time finalist, actually.
2 times finalist, but definitely one for this one. And I know I particularly loved his character concept, as did many other people really loved his character concept. And because I loved, the idea of having a scaled 1 character, I figured it'd be awesome for Gremlin Mike to come and, hang out with us for 1 session at least, and talk a little bit about this race that is so mysterious and vague in the Dragon Age lore. So Gremlin Mike and I took some time, because I informed him very early on about what the themes were for this campaign. I feel like even before, I'm not sure if it happened before your session 1, but it definitely was super early, super early.
We got to talking literally before you guys started filming.
That's true. Before we started filming, I was already talking to Mike, and I pretty much gave him not everything in the story, but the huge chunk.
But the one thing I have to say is keeping the secret this long has been absolute torture.
He knows a lot of the twists that you guys have been hearing throughout this campaign. Like Mike already knew, and he even knows the twist that's like in the final session, I think, but we'll get to that. So, yeah.
Okay, guys, where does Mike live? We need to go drive by kidnapping real quick. Make sure to bring the true serum, everyone. Good. We got the white van. Okay, make sure to bring the white van. Mm-hmm.
Hey, sounds like a fun weekend.
We talked about the Chi Isles, and we talked about what it was going to be like and what the scaled ones are like, because we've had to adapt we had to make a few tweaks to the really awesome details that Mike presented, just so that it fit into our story and fit into this world. So Could you, Mike, take some time to tell us about the Chi Isles and the scaled ones? Really, like, as little or as much as you'd like. Feel free to save some things to reveal later. So don't spoil too much, I guess. But as much as you can, just to help us to role play in this new mysterious world.
Well, the Chi Isles are very much a world unto themselves. They have been secluded from the rest of Thetis for, well, basically since before the Taint entered the world. They originally, before they went into hiding, were depicted as a very harsh, warrior-like race. However, going into hiding and basically being secluded from everyone, they have left that part of themselves behind. They are much more a balance between mind, body, and soul is always what is the desire for any being that lives here. To you, we may be called the Scaled Ones. To us, we are the Dragokin and the Kossith. We study the ways of Chi, handed down to us from Draconists. If one were to arrive here, they would see a very Asian-inspired atmosphere. A lot of architecture showing the swoops, and I can't articulate it very well, but I hope you all have a picture in your mind of what I'm trying to convey. The world very much is at peace. Arguments are typically talked out, and fighting itself is really more relegated to just ritual and rites of passage. One thing of note is that if one were able to see our isles from high above, it would look as though you were looking upon a silhouette of a meditating scaled one with the isles going straight from top to bottom.
Thank you for that description, Mike. I'm actually going to be leaning on Mike a lot because he knows this place way better than I do. So just keep that in mind, that I'll probably let him drive for quite a bit of this session. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, to be honest, he gave me a direction, said, "Have fun." So I did.
Hark's just like internally going, "Oh, thank God I can rest."
I could be sad. That's why I'm dressed all like, vacation out.
This is my vacation episode, guys. I'm just gonna go. I got a question? Ask Mike.
You guys, as I said, just came back from the Wizarding World. Maybe you guys thought it was all a dream. I don't know. If it was a dream, maybe now that you're in this really bizarre-looking locale, maybe you're still dreaming. Who knows? But one thing I will mention is that you are back there with Rosie, who, by the way, is still asleep, who's still zonked out asleep. You probably can wake her now. I think
Has the Skelegro fully healed her, by the way?
Yes. By this point, you will have known it would have fully healed her. She's just still asleep. Valor is there with... How many griffins did we take with us?
We said 3 male griffins.
3 male griffins. 3 strapping male griffins of different colors. We'll say there's the blonde, the brunette, and the black feathered griffin. So she has her pick. No, you know what? Blonde, brunette, and ginger.
I was
blonde, brunette, and ginger. And you can name the griffins whatever you'd like. So now you guys have 3 other griffins. They probably are not ready to be ridden by anyone. But just so you know, if you guys want your own griffins, you might have 3 of them now. As I said, the immediate area, for right now, I'm thinking Polynesian like. So it's a mix. I see this place being a mix of Asian culture, but like Polynesian island archipelago is how you pronounce it. Archipelago. Thank you. Like in nature, and the rest of your party, conveniently, is there with you as well. They're not really sure how they got there, or you might talk to them. They have very confused looks on their faces. So that would be Bomb and Darren
the rest
and
are there.
Nathan.
Oh, okay.
Bomb and Darren and Nathan are there as well. And just in general, everything here feels... You can definitely feel a connection to this place, because out of character, this place is filled with chakra energy, just swirling all around, just because the citizens here utilize it so much and they spend a lot of time like channeling it so much. You sort of feel like this elevated energy coming from it. So I will say that since you are outside of the region affected by the breach from Season 2, none of the disadvantages from the regions of elemental diminished elements apply, but all of your benefits do. All of your benefits apply. And on top of that, because of this like chakra energy flowing through everything, I'm going to effectively say that all of your D20 rolls, or D20, all of your rolls, non-damage wise, can get a +1 boost. +1 boost on all of your rolls.
Nice.
When you stunt, you can choose which die you stunt with, or which die is the dragon die, to determine how many stunt points you get.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like
So
that.
it does not have to be the normal dragon die. It could be any of the die. It could be like, that's the dragon die for my stunt points.
I like that a lot.
I think that'll be more fun.
That's a good magic item too.
That is a good magic item. But for right now, that is the traits of simply being here in the Chakra Islands as the Dragon Chakra Avatar.
Guys, we're gonna have the Magisters fight here so we can pwn them. Right. Okay.
Pasha is going to, like, looking around. She sees Nathan, and then just in her brain, Albion's voice, "You marry Prince Nathan. You marry Prince Nathan. You marry Prince..." And just her, like, oh no. Just like a look of existential dread on her face as she's just like,
Hey, Pasha, you doing okay over there?
I'm fine. It's like someone walked over my grave. I'm sorry. I'm having a bit of a moment here.
Oh, is it because of all the in the air?
Yes. We'll go with that. Yeah.
Well, outside of that, where are we?
That's what I would like to know, Bomb says.
Are you sure we ended back up in Thetis?
You know, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if we weren't.
Speaking of, how are you here? Bomb, Nathan, Darren, what happened?
We were hoping you would be able to explain that, Darren says. One moment we were in Fortuna, and the next moment we're here. Big flash of light. I wasn't sure if this was a new ability that you avatars suddenly gained to just teleport.
No.
Something else.
Not that we're aware of, at least.
It'd be nice to teleport.
I'm gonna kind of mind speak. Do you think when we went to, their world, it just kind of skipped them ahead here because we skipped like a chapter in our book or something?
Possibly, but still.
Huh.
Where
Maybe.
exactly? This doesn't look like any place, at least I've read in Thetis. I think.
Though skipping chapters does concern me.
What if something important happened during the journey that we skipped?
Possible. I mean, well, here we are now. I guess as best we
wherever here is.
Yeah. It's definitely
I guess we should ask a local where we are.
Is there any buildings, or is it just land, like nature, fawn and stuff like that?
If you're just arriving, you probably don't see any buildings nearby. However, off in the distance, you may see some spires.
Tyrion's gonna say to the group, how about I take a look, like, on one of the trees, maybe, see if I can climb up and get a better vision.
Can't hurt.
Nathan, as he's looking around, he says, I've been virtually everywhere around Thetis that I'm aware of, and I can't say that any of this looks familiar.
So Tyrion's gonna make his way to a tree, and he's gonna start climbing it.
You're gonna make your way to a tree, and go ahead and roll your climb roll.
Rolled an 18 to climb a tree.
Yeah, you're gonna climb the tree very well. This tree currently has a good amount of, it looks like fruit to you, but it's certainly fruit that you've never seen before. It's got I would probably say that they've got these, it's like pinkish, almost magenta-ish in nature, with like maybe some orange blossoms in the actual trees itself. Out of character, I'm making this not exactly dragon fruit in the real world, but it's inspired by dragon fruit in the real world. You're not really sure if this fruit is safe to eat, but it looks enticing.
It's scaled fruit.
It's scaled fruit. These fruit are scaled ones.
So yeah. So Tyrion's just gonna look at these and.
But what the scaled ones were all along, fruit.
They started off as fruit.
Can Tyrion set like a mental image of like these strange fruit to the party, like with the whole dragon connection?
Does Pasha, being a native of Saharon, if the Kunari, when they were fleeing the Korsith, maybe took any of their flora or fauna with them, does any of this look familiar to Pasha?
I'm gonna say that the foliage here is strictly foliage of these isles.
And it might be, even if you were to take like seeds or something, it might be very difficult to cultivate in other places.
Okay.
And Mike, I'd like to think that perhaps some of it is because the chakra itself is part of the provides actually some of the nutrients somehow and helps breathe life to these specific fruits. So bringing them out of this environment where there isn't as rich with chakra energy might not let them blossom as well. Not that you would know that, but
Daretham does pull up his hood, covering his face, just in case, and will say, well, at least from what I can recall, in 1200 years as a darkspawn, this is unfamiliar.
Daretham, remember when you brought me up to speed about the library and everything? Would you say that's about where we've ended up?
Well, if it was night, that might be able to be answered. We could look at the stars and see if this is Thetis and we would be roughly in that location. As for day, I don't know.
Tyrion arrives at the top of the tree.
Yeah, you'll get to the top, and are you just like kind of looking out?
Yeah, he's gonna just do a normal lookout. He doesn't want to pull out his rifle because then it's like, oh, there's someone with a gun. Actually, no one know.
Yeah, roll a perception C.
Alright, yes, I'll give you a +1 bonus. 20 with 5 stone points.
Oh, crazy good. That is a crazy good perception. Mike, with a crazy good perception, what would he see?
With that, he is definitely going to notice beings coming towards them somewhat in force. There are quite a few people coming your way.
Okay. Does he see any structures at this time as he's up here?
From here you can see the spires a bit better. They are at the center of what looks to be some sort of village town.
Okay. And the definitely architecture different, very different architecture than anything.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay, Tyrion's then gonna like do the whole slide down the tree. He's gonna climb down. He's gonna a mental shout to all the other avatars. Trouble, force coming.
Before Tyrion gives that message, I want to know what everybody else was doing in the meantime, in parallel to him climbing up the tree. What are the other characters doing in the meantime?
I guess feeding the other griffins would all I'd be doing. Just like a couple of my rations to them.
Could I just do a general search for flora and fauna? Because, this would be great for my thesis.
Oh, yes. 100%. Roll whatever you think is appropriate.
I would actually get out the map we have of the Chakra Isles, and as much as I can during the day, would try to get what I remember from the text we read and look at the maps and see if there's anything here that's familiar.
Oh, I was just going to say, Pasha's she's standing by Vala, and question, does Pasha feel like she's forgotten anything?
No, Pasha feels fine.
Pasha
she doesn't feel like she's forgotten anything.
Okay.
So are you just by just Valor and not the other three griffins, just out of curiosity?
I think specifically Vala, also her back is to the ocean and she is keeping it to the, I think she's petting Vala in a kind of trying to distract herself from the sound of the waves. She's just focus on the feathers, groom the feathers, get out some of the sand, don't look back. That's what Pasha is doing.
While you are grooming Valor, all of a sudden, you have what I'm going to call a "That's So Raven" moment. That's so Pasha. That's so... Which is how I describe it to Luke when this happens to Luke.
Oh, no.
But you have a "That's so Pasha" moment where you get this vision of a young baby Valor. And this young baby Valor is kind of watching what appears to be several individuals wearing Grey Warden uniforms. You get a sense that, things around you are kind of grim at the moment, and yet this baby Valor seems very oblivious to it and is very happy-go-lucky. And I'm going to say that you will find one particular Grey Warden appears to be a dwarf, kneels down in front of Valor and is sort of starting to groom the little Valor's feathers as well, similar to how you're grooming her feathers right now. And after that, you come out of your "That's So Pasha" moment, and starting now, Pasha, please add 2 to your magic score.
Oh, no!
2 to your magic score. Yes.
Oh,
We did it! She's corrupted!
I kept her on 0 magic for so long, and now it's...
Thank you, Luke. There was some role-playing that happened in between.
I'm like, what?
Also, Luke, guess what happened? This was a power transfer, not a power share. Transfer. As in, I think you just took something that somebody might want back. FYI.
Oh, no. Dominic, basically, Luke went into Pasha's mind to create a copy of her memories to put in a pensive, so then later they could drag her out of the book, put her memories back, and it's I've tricked the Cune. He crit failed.
So...
Oh, no.
The good news is everything that they were trying to do in that plan worked. It worked fine. But there was a side effect. A side effect.
Oh no.
Are we
Can
gonna
someone
get-
say Sarah Boss?
Does someone have a sewing kit?
I hope there's an Ollivanders in Thetis, because we might need one.
Pasha stops, and she thinks that this is just like some hallucination, like a stress-based hallucination, because this has never happened to her before. So she kind of, yeah, I could see that happening to Vala. And she
Can I,
just continue on.
out of curiosity, could I? I'm a spirit mage now, like attuned to magic in a more because anti-magic and stuff. Can I sense this?
Yes, roll a magic roll. Actually, Leon, roll a magic roll as well because you're in the general area. as well.
Spirit
boy.
would spirit apply?
Sure, I'll let you do spirit. Sure,
Could I do creation?
I'll let you do creation. I'll let you.
17,
17.
18?
19 because you have the +1.
Oh,
You both definitely feel that some magical ability, maybe it's a spell, maybe it's some other magical ability, you felt something pulse where Pasha is, specifically, and it doesn't feel like it came from the griffin.
I think me and Leon just like turn to look at each other and share a look and look over at Pasha.
She's very, like I said, she's busying herself with the grooming the griffin. She looks like she's trying to hide the fact that she's afraid, but I think you've seen her around magic enough times to know, like, she's not afraid of anything magical. This is a different kind of phobia.
Side note, I got a 22 on my natural lore when I was adding plants to my thesis.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that as you are collecting, so you definitely see a whole bunch of new plants, and the trees around you with the fruit seem to be the most interesting. Would you say that you took some time to like maybe there might be some fruit on the ground? I don't know if you would have taken some time to examine them.
Yeah, I'll take samples as well.
You take samples. They definitely look edible. They don't seem poisonous. You probably will get a lot more information if you taste it, and you don't feel like it's. You don't think that it's poisonous in any way, as I said. So.
Oh, I'm definitely taking a big bite.
You take a big bite. It is the sweetest, juiciest. This one actually has sort of like a creaminess to it, almost like a custard fruit. I don't know if you ever had a custard fruit, but yeah, these dragon fruit like things is like out of this world. Like certainly something you could probably get a lot of money for if you could somehow figure out how to cultivate it and sell it.
Oh, definitely taking seeds.
Immediately feel a surge within your very soul as you increase your chakra points by 1 point.
Ooh.
You increase your chakra point by 1 point. Yeah, you feel like this is such a ethereal experience when you're eating this fruit. Almost like to the point that it might help you with getting into your Zen, like meditate. It's probably got some. If you ate enough of it, you feel like it would probably have some hallucinogenic properties. Possibly if you ate too much of it. But it might help you meditate among other things. So, just as an FYI,
I'm gonna run over to Pasha and say, "Eat this," and almost shove it into her mouth.
you shove it in your mouth, and I'm gonna say that Pasha like holds it a little bit when so it doesn't just fall into herself. Mm-hmm. And as soon as she touches it, wham! That's so Pasha movement. So Pasha, you see an image of a tree sapling when this tree was really young, or when a tree was really young. And it's like growing in this beautiful tropical areas. And I'm going to say you actually see some beings frolicking around in the sand, like playing in the beaches next to this younger sapling of a tree that looks a lot like the toddler or young child versions of the scaled one drawing that you saw in the library. And then you get out of your "that's so Pasha" moment, and Leon definitely notices that something magical within
Darethon was
Pasha just
approaching, and I think he was like going to ask something. Then he gets that burst too, and he looks concerned.
Back to Pasha though. While this is happening, I will also point out, as somebody who loves sweet things, this is definitely like the pinnacle of sweet fruit that you have ever tried.
Pasha, like she kind of, like almost like she got a bit of an electric shock, and she looks down at the fruit and kind of like, what just happened? But then she's also like,
oh yeah, it's good stuff.
This is amazing, Darethon. I know you don't eat, but try this. Try some of this.
Pasha, give yourself another chakra point as well.
Darethon will take it, and Pasha is not going to. She's going to notice that Darethon doesn't really seem to be eyeing the fruit too much. He's more studying her, and there is a look of concern on his face. It doesn't look scared, but he looks concerned. And then he just slowly.
So, Pasha.
Sailboats arrive and we're suspiciously eating fruit on the beach.
I'll add a chakra point, I assume.
Yeah, add a chakra point. Yes.
Do you wanna talk about that burst of magic that just happened?
What burst of magic?
Well, there we.
So when you ate the fruit, you had sort of a unfocused glaze to your eyes for just a brief moment, and then a burst of magic happened, and
I can't speak about the burst of magic. I'm no mage, but
as soon as you say I'm no mage, you actually see Darethon's concern like grow more pointed, and he kind of
no offense intended. I just sort of had an odd daydream, I guess.
Pasha, humor me for a split second, will you?
Okay.
Can I quickly try to coach Pasha into making a small arcane lance? Just out of curiosity.
You can. FYI, by this point, I think Tyrion is going to start climbing this tree, just as an FYI.
Okay.
So if you want to do that, you probably should be doing it quick.
They don't know. Like I've reached the top, so yeah.
Right. That part hasn't happened. I'm just saying out of character.
Yeah.
If you want to somehow make some traction, you can try it quick.
Side note, from being a circle mage, do I at least know an idea of how to test if someone has magical aptitude?
I would say so.
Oh.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
Is that just a straight magic roll, or can I add a bonus onto it?
I feel like Darethon's in the right track by trying to coerce Pasha to
just
cast an arcane lance. Whether or not she agrees to try is up to her.
Pasha will humor him. She knows that she has no magical aptitude, so what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, I've spent 45 years of my life not being the mage. Not gonna happen now.
So he will like show kind of a little spark of lightning between his fingertips and just kind of give the basic idea, just for fun. Give it a whirl.
Pasha, roll for the very first time. Roll a magic roll, and remember you get a +1 because of the fact that you're in
+3 to this.
The Isles. Yeah.
And arcane lance is just an attack roll, so it works.
I wanted to roll a magic roll anyway.
8.
How appropriate?
9. It's a 9. It's a +1.
It's a 9. That's fine. So she doesn't actually shoot anything out of her fingertips, but you definitely see like some magical, mystical sparks coming out of her hand, which has never happened to Pasha before. I'm just curious. What I'd like to think that everybody's arcane lance is unique in color. So what would you say if Pasha were to have some magical energy, some raw magical energy? What color would it be for her?
Can I ask what colors are Leon and Derthams.
If Sam disagrees, but I've been coloring his lance green because of the whole plants thing. Chlorophyll.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dertham's, what would Dertham's lance look? I think Dertham's lance has a hint of blue and black. It's like it's lightning, but instead of a white center and a blue outline, it's a black center and a blue outline. So it's kind of like a sort of blackish with a blue tint, sort of lightning style thing to his arcane lance. Probably because originally it just looked like lightning, but when he became Darkspawn, that black core entered in.
Out of character, I hate to tell this to you, Callista, but give yourself mana points equal to a level 1 mage. You have mana points equal to a level 1 mage.
I'm going to get my book.
I think it's
I believe
10,
it's 10 plus magic.
Yeah,
10 plus whatever your magic
D6.
is.
Plus a
10
D6.
plus a...
Where do I put this? I've never even opened the
You need
magic pack.
to go to the gear button.
Gear button.
There's show
For
mana
mana
magic
points.
points. Yep, and then give yourself 12 plus a D6.
Yep, 12 plus a D6.
Brandon, I love you so much, Brandon.
Where's starting mana?
12 plus a d6. So
Is Russo in the area at all? Is he like noticing
Yep.
this is happening? Because he's
10
by
plus
the
magic plus a
griffins
D6.
too, right? Feeding the other griffins.
Yeah, I'd say he's just been watching with like a oh no look on his face.
Yeah, there's a few times where as Dartham has been coaxing, like his eyes have been glancing over to Rousseau, and he looks like the more he's coaxing and the more Pasha's getting, he's like,
I like to imagine that the sparks coming out of Pasha's fingertips, they're kind of red. They're like a bright red, I think. And as soon as they she screams. This, like an abject fear and horror, just
She will start to scream, and right after she screams, that's when Tyrion gives everybody the alarm.
A force is coming. As you,
A force is coming.
a force,
Oh shit! And I'm just gonna start slowly pulling the hammer off my back.
I run back to the party as fast as I can, and I am ready. I'm readying my knives. But I'm saying I don't know if they're coming here to attack us or not. Probably since we just came here. Who knows?
As soon as your message goes out to them, you all receive a message.
Lay down your weapons if you wish to survive.
It doesn't look like, by the way, the well, Mike can disagree with me, but I was gonna say it doesn't look like the other party members, the NPCs, heard it. Or do you think they would have heard it?
I would say they've heard it, and in fact, as they're coming closer, you guys are actually getting hints of chatter between this group coming towards you guys.
Did you guys hear that? Nathan says. He looks very startled.
transform and run. Or stay.
Tyrion's like still climbing down, and he's making his way to the party. So he won't talk until he arrives at them.
I think we at least want to know where we are so that we can, if we do decide to run, we can book it easier.
I'd say let's hear them out. Then, if it looks like it goes bad, Leon has the right idea. Run.
Well, I guess I should lay down my weapons, Darren says, as she puts away her swords, but her cloth is still, it's still like fluttering in the wind.
Yeah, Dartham himself, like his red handkerchief kind of just very slowly undulates on the back of his hand, and he will just stick his staff, Livia's staff, in the ground, and will just throw a dagger if he has it.
Quick out of character, would anyone mind if I steal 2 points so that way I've got enough for reform if I need it?
Go ahead. I got 2.
Okay.
Actually, wait, no. I have 3, so I actually want to keep those for reform.
You can take one of mine.
Tyrion arrives.
Okay. And then anyone else have a single point they could give up? If not, it's fine. I'll figure it out.
I'm going to say by this time, a group of about 30 beings come upon you. It is a mixed group of the scaled ones that you are familiar to via the carvings, and ones that are rather strange. They look closer to the Quinari in ways, but they have glittering scales in spots on them. And the more reptilian of the scaled ones, you'll notice that they are all in a variety of colors. They each one, including the more Quinari type, have a spear in hand, and they have them basically pointed at all you guys. One of the pack, a scaled one, will step forward and he'll look you all over.
How did you get here? Who are you?
I suppose we could ask the same thing. We were in the deep roads and there was a flash. Good to know.
Yeah.
Speaking, by the way, Gremlin, in common right now? Are you speaking in common?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we just came here to random. Very weird story.
Teleport magic gone wrong. We have no idea where we are.
Magics.
He has a very strong distaste for what you've just said. But then you basically get the feeling that a strong presence is speaking to them. You're not able to hear what he's saying, but immediately the lead one stands down and sighs with a huff.
Daztrul will see you.
True?
Daztrul. Daztrul.
Sorry, as an leading question of who is that?
I'm just out of character.
Is this Nathan speaks up? Is this Daztrul your king?
He leads us.
Probably gonna be the closest to a king we'll get, Nathan.
Probably.
Will you at least let us know where we are?
You are upon our homeland, the Isles of Chi. This is the Isle of Sahasrara.
I think. Well, looks like at least we know where we are.
Should we just go with them? I'm really not seeing much of an alternative choice.
Well, maybe we can get some more tasty fruit.
I think we can.
Did you eat of our sacred fruit?
Can I just give Leon a back to the head slap? No, he didn't.
Roll a deception roll, Russo.
I still have it in my hand. Can I hide it behind my back like a child?
Yes.
Throws it in the ocean.
Yes.
No.
I'm going to re-roll that with my intrigue.
Nice.
Roll a stealth,
19 with
Leon.
6 temp points.
Roll a stealth, Leon. And roll me a 3d6, Gremlin Mike. Just roll me a 3d6. I want to see what you get.
Will do.
I'll add bonuses on top.
That's a 17 because of I'm in.
Yeah, that's a 20 for Rousseau then.
So that's a total of 12, it looks like.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You believe that Rousseau believes that he's telling the truth. As for Leon, you definitely see Leon. Did you just like randomly throw it?
Well, I like hit it behind my back, and
You definitely notice the young ginger boy hide something behind his back. You didn't see what that something was, but he certainly looked like he hid something.
Can I just say, I'd like it if Leon hid it behind his back, but then it dropped, and so you could just see it between his feet, and it's just
Sure. I think that's fine. Yes, that's fine.
He will stare at Leon like he would wish nothing more than to eviscerate you, but he has orders to otherwise, so he will just shake his head and tell the rest of you,
Gather your belongings, leave nothing behind.
I'm going to say that while all of this was happening, Rosie, by the way, woke up and is trying to like get herself oriented, and I think she will go up to Leon, and it looks like she's like looking at her arms and legs, and she said, "Okay, I have a lot of questions, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have them answered anytime soon."
The short answer is magic.
Not for now, and plans. And some plans.
Leon, stop with the Maker Forsaken M-word. Jesus.
But that's like half my identity.
Jesus.
Shush. Shut up. I don't know. I'm mad and making up new words.
Call it madness, I don't know.
So you guys are going to, I guess, gather your things. By this point, the 30 or so creatures have pretty much you surrounded. So,
Well, our back is to an ocean, so we're not necessarily surrounded.
I mean, they're going to surround you to
Yeah.
make sure that none of you guys just run off.
oh yeah, 30 more come out of the water.
Oh, wow, okay.
No,
Oh, serious?
I'm kidding.
Okay.
How Predator movie.
Darren's going to go up to Daretham, and she's just going to say, well, look at the bright side. I think you and I might have found a great vacation spot for a romantic getaway, she says, smiling.
Certainly. Considering a time when there wouldn't be weapons pointing at us, it'd be a nice place to relax.
She kind of, shrugs, and she says, I don't know, I find that a little arousing, personally.
Of course you would.
Of course you would.
He just kind of gives a small smile, and will actually give her a kiss as they head up.
Nice. Nathan is going to go up to Pasha, and I don't think he says much, but I think he's just gonna go up to her and say, "Are you all right, Pasha?"
Pasha is holding her hand like this. She has not let go of her hand, and I'm assuming the sparkles stopped at some point, because hopefully, and she's gonna look at Nathan and she's going, "No, I don't think I'm okay."
Are you hurt?
Did you see? Did you see what my hand did?
No, I actually did not. I was exploring the coast just before those, I guess, natives came out from the foliage.
Pasha's gonna attempt to do what Daretham showed her again, just very slightly.
Slightly, yeah. Roll me a magic roll. Oh yeah.
Zoom in on Kevin in the chat. So the circle.
It doesn't. So like you said, because you're intending for it to not just shoot out, but you do have a much more controlled, almost like cantripy like sparks of controlled red energy.
And then she's going to cut it off. And she's just going to look at Nathan. I'm 45 years old. This should not be happening to me.
Nathan's jaw is agape.
Because isn't this Nathan's biggest fear? One day waking up and he has magic.
Yeah, so he definitely can relate. And he's like, "You're 45." He said, "I'm only." It's like, "I'm not even 20 yet." And he's like now questioning. Oh no, there's still time for me to become a mage.
As Dartham and Darren are walking forward, I'd imagine he'd see this, and then maybe he overhears Nathan and goes,
"We traveled through dimensions. It might have something to do with that, so it's probably nothing to worry about for you."
And he just keeps walking.
He's still putting two and two together. I mean, I think by this point, you guys are being poked by spears, and so he's not able to ask any more questions. Go ahead, Leon.
I'd like to, in Dwarvish, just slowly get Rosie up to speed of what's been going on.
Yeah. You can do that. So she knows what's going on, and well, how much are you telling her? Are you telling her everything from the wizarding world? Are you telling her?
I'm going to try to give her a brief overview and then tell her that I'll give her more information. But this is all in Dwarvish, so no one else can hear.
Yeah, okay. She definitely has way more questions, but she's just going to listen and look bewildered. And then last but not least, I'm going to say Baum is going to go up to Tyrion. Mm-hmm. And Tyrion, I think Baum... I don't think he's gonna say anything because he knows that he's a very huge guy and these people don't trust you as a group. So him starting to talk to you is probably not a smart idea. So he doesn't verbally say anything to you, but you can tell that he's just checking to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah. I look at Baum and I just say with a raised eyebrow, he can see he's tense. With what was going on, so that's sort of body language that Tyrion's giving to Baum.
I'd also interventor inform Darren, kind of similar to what Leon's doing, bullet points of what's been happening.
So, yes, you are all led towards the city, and as you get closer, you start seeing more and more of these people. You see young children, you see the elderly, man, woman, you see it all. As you are paraded through the town, people stop and gawk at your party. You are effectively the first visitors they've had in quite some time. And many parents shoo their children away from you or hide them behind themselves in fear of who these beings are that have come to their land. You are not stopped at all along your way. You are brought to a squat building that when brought inside, you see actually has open air roof. There is no actual roof to this building, and you are basically ushered into what looks like a cab of some sorts. Once you are all inside, several scaled ones with wings come out of a side room and actually pick up the cab to fly you to a new island. This is one of their main ports of transportation. Yes, Dartham.
There's a 12-foot tall ogre.
You are good.
Okay.
They're not even charging us. How generous.
This is their main force of transportation between the islands. For those that do not have wings, and it is also their main way of transporting goods and such. So basically, you're just all cargo right now. you are flown up into the sky where you momentarily get the full outlook of the islands in its strangely rocked silhouette that is somewhat of a barrier between the islands and the rest of the world. You even notice that strangely outside the rocky walls of these islands, there is a strong mist that just completely encircles the rocked walls. As you start to descend, you all are brought to the Isle of Swadhisana, and you see that this particular island seems to have more winged scaled ones than the last island did. But it's also home to the largest building and with spires that you had seen while above the islands. Once you land, you are all again ushered out. It's been actually a bit of a walk for you guys by this point. Probably about an hour since you've been from the beach. Just in walking. The flight over was a nice about 30-minute ride for you guys, not having to walk, so there was a bit of a rest there. And you are brought to a very large temple-like, almost castle-like structure. Inside, you are met with a very elderly-looking, but exuding a strong aura, scaled one. He stands before you, staff in one hand and what looks like a closed hand fan in the other.
So you have come to these lands. Tell me, which one of you knows the Faust?
I assume the party just slowly looks at me. Hi. I'm Leon Faust.
Why do you smell of the ones called David and Clara?
They were my parents.
Have you two then come to steal from us?
Oh, I was not aware of that part of, I guess, family history.
What'd they steal?
They came to us saying that they wish to bridge a gap. We shared our history with them. It was not enough to go with stories. They felt they needed proof. And so many of our sacred busts and tablets was stolen from us. Indeed, even an egg from one of my brood.
At this point, I think that Rosie looks towards Rousseau immediately.
Darthan keeps his face cool, but I mean, he does have a reaction he tries to keep in, so if the Emperor, Empress, King, whoever wishes to try to read him, his face is cloaked, but I can make a deception to try to just keep the expression held.
How many were in their group? That third one was my mother?
And your point?
You know what, screw it, I'm just gonna do the chakra voice. This is kind of my point.
So when you say the chakra voice, you mean
Like the mental speak to him. Like
Yeah, okay, so you're
I
speaking
am.
to okay.
He will just continue to stare at you.
Obviously, your group has found some way to master our communication, as your colleague had done earlier. So again, I state your point.
Everyone can do that here, Russo. That's
Okay, I'm gonna have to be more direct. For a long time, I didn't know what I was. Then I found some notes saying I came from an egg.
Then it seems that you have finally returned to your homeland.
That's good, right? Nathan says to Russo.
Doesn't really feel like home.
Yes, but when you have 80 or so creatures with pointed sticks at us, maybe appeal to their
Well, by
culture?
this point, you guys don't have a bunch of spears pointed at you. You still have guard around, but they are no longer ready to just
Steady step.
Yeah, I think he would have still said that. I think he would have still said that as a nudge. Maybe appeal to their culture a bit.
So then, Faust, if you and your group are not here to steal from us yet again, why are you here?
Well, our group was originally planning on coming to the Chakra Isles in order to learn more about dragon avatars. We had found some pieces in a museum talking about a bit of your culture, and it matches what we have been experiencing as well. And we were hoping to learn more about ourselves, and we were not meaning any offense nor trespassing upon your land.
Amazing how words can span generations. I believe your David said very much the same.
If the Lord appreciates, would you be able to see one of us do what we've learned?
First of all, you may call me Das Trul.
Das Trul, apologies.
And very well, I suppose you may proceed.
Daretham has his stuff. He would kind of look over to Tyrion and just give a little nod and step forward. Hand his staff back to Darren. And he transforms into an abyssal adult dragon.